Hi, I'm Dan Chambers of Chambers Law Firm, and welcome to episode 11 in our ongoing series of the anatomy of a criminal case. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about a topic that can really kind of fit in anywhere along this discussion that we've been having, but it's a critically important one that always has to be discussed during the case, and preferably sooner rather than later, and that is, should you testify in your own defense? Now, most of you probably know that you have the right against self-incrimination. That means that the prosecutor can't force you to testify. The only time that you can be put on the witness stand is if you choose to get up there, and you also have that right to get up and testify in your own defense. Now, it's one of the unique rights that you have that you can decide what you want to do even if your lawyer is recommending that you not do it, because it is a personal right that you have in your case. So for example, I've had clients that have told me that they absolutely do not want to testify in their case. And I sit down with them and I say, look, you have a good defense. You will do well as a witness. I'm recommending that you testify. I think it will help your case. And sometimes they've agreed with me and sometimes they disagree because it is their right. They have the ultimate say whether they want to follow my advice or not. And there's a lot of factors that go into my recommendation to whether a client should testify. One of the most obvious ones is, do you have a prior criminal record? If you're a convicted felon or if you've got violent crimes in your history, the DA can try to use that against you to make you look like you should not be believed and that you're just a convicted felon who's going to lie and do whatever you can to get out of the crime. So that's one major factor that goes into the mix of whether you should testify. Another one is, how comfortable will you be up there? Most of us don't do well with public speaking. Most of us get nervous in front of strangers. And you can't think of a situation that's more nerve-wracking than having 12 strange jurors there that don't know you. You're being asked all of these very personal questions. Every eye in the courtroom is on you. And the pressure of being convicted of a crime, sometimes very serious, is literally riding on every word that you give to that jury. So it can be incredibly nerve-wracking. How well are you going to stand up against it? How well will you do on cross-examination? Because it's only part of the connection that I get to question you. The DA gets to get up there now, a highly skilled, trained DA, to try to dismantle and destroy you on the witness stand. Are you going to hold up or not? So that goes into it too. There's a lot of other factors that go into the case, but there are some cases where you almost have to testify. Let's say that you're accused of killing someone and there was only two people there, you and the person that was killed, and your defense is self-defense. Well, you're the only person that was in that room, so you will be the only one that can tell your story about why you had to kill this person. And it's almost always a guarantee that you'll have to testify in a self-defense case. So some cases, there's really not a lot of discussion. If you want to try to beat the crime, you've got to get up there. So it really depends on the crime itself. The bottom line is it needs to be talked about early. Your lawyer needs to sit you down, figure out whether you're comfortable doing it and if it's the right case for you to get up there. And ultimately, it's your decision, but it has to be done and discussed early, and sometimes it changes. I've had cases at the very end of trial, I thought I was putting my client up, and the way the case turned out, we poked enough holes in it, I didn't have to put my client up there, and they were very relieved not to have to testify. So things can change. So as much as you need to talk about it early, it's like a basketball game. There's going to be momentum shifts, the matchups are going to change, and by the time the game is almost over, you may need to rethink your strategy, but I always prepare the client to testify. I make sure they're ready, and if we don't need them to get up there, we're better off for it in most cases. But you need to be prepared either way. Thank you.